let's hit some offense. So the last two games, we start in 12 personnel and 21 personnel. All right. Life goes great. And I couldn't be more elated, right? I'm old school. So what happens? False start, inevitably bad things happen when you don't go from 12 or 21. Bad things happen when you go. So they start the game in like 11 personnel or something like that. And you just, my heart drops a little bit. Anyways, we go 1st and 15. We'll see here, Elgton Jenkins. And people ask, they ask me to describe Elgton Jenkins, and it's hard because I wouldn't sit here and lie to you and say that he's a master technician. And there's a lot of things that he does. I think he got put on the map when he played Aaron Donald and he loved him and they got into that kind of fisticuffs a little bit. I think that really put Elgin on the map and you kind of demonstrated to everybody that, what he really is he's about that. When I say he's about that, it means like he's here to have a fight. And he is not afraid of anybody and he can play. He's big, strong, he's athletic. He can just kind of mess with anybody. Now, everybody says he can play all across the line. Maybe that's true. He didn't do great at right tackle last year. The year before that, I think in backup, he did a good job at left tackle. We know he can play the center position, obviously play guard at a high level. But he's not a master technician. So when you watch him sometimes, he has good body position, but his feet are it's not always pretty. But here's what he does at a really high level. You see how he lowers, dips, and brings his hips into contact. Does a phenomenal job. I liked A.J. Dillon on the start here, under point. But let's look at Elgton Jenkins. And then backside, when you look at John Runyon Jr. and Zach Tom, I'm probably just going to keep gushing over because I just like the way he plays. I just like his athleticism. I fall in love with athletes here on this on tape. You see the great first step by Zach Tom. He's already play side, has a helmet one. John's getting off. He's crossed over. I don't like that particularly, but he's getting up to the second level. But you just see how Zach Tom's just pushing this guy out of the bar, man. I mean, that's a huge hole for AJ. That's a big-time play. Big-time play in the backside. Backside, if you get big runs, it usually happens. Everybody looks at the front side. Oh, they're running to the right. But it's, or they're running to the left. It's the backside blocks that get the job done in this league. All right. We have the replacing Lazard again. We're having tryouts to replace Allen Lazard in the run game as a blocker. Okay. So this is a kick play. And I don't know why we're not running kick play with Tucker Kraft in. We usually use two tight ends. And you're just essentially, the ball is going to be handed off like he's going to the left. Okay. In other words, the line is all going to be blocking like they're going to the left. But really what you're trying to do here is you're trying to wash everything down. And you want 250-pound A.J. Dillon against the cornerback who's off the screen on the right. You want him to cut back and then get his shoulder pads north and south. And you're basically saying, my 250-pound running back, and every team in the league runs this, okay? My 250-pound running back can run through the arm tackle of your 190-pound defensive back, cornerback, for as many yards as he wants, or at least he's going to fall forward for 5. Like, in other words, if I run this play, I'm expecting to get 5 yards unless something goes haywire. The problem is, if you're going to run it with Reed, he's got to be a physical blocker. And right here, too low, helmet's on the wrong side, position blocking, and he literally just gets forced into this. And you see the hand of where we wanted to run. And AJ probably could have kept this outside, to be fair. But when AJ sees all of that real estate, he's got to make a decision and to cut up field. Maybe you don't want to, try to turn the corner because Jalen's getting pushed back towards the hash mark. We got to be a lot more physical here if we want to replace Allen Lazard in the run game. If you want to get those snaps, if you want to get reps, if I'm the wide receivers coach or the tight ends coach, it's like, you want to get reps in the passing game, you better damn well sure you block well for these guys, okay? Because these guys are the workhorses of our team, talking about A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. So Jordan Love, I didn't show the sideline view of this to whether or not, what decisions he could make and this, that, or the other. I wanted you guys to see just very simply, Jordan Love's on his first read, on his second read. Then all of a sudden, when you see that the Seattle Seahawks have made a mistake and the defense end's gone inside the tackle and they don't have an answer outside, what he can bring to the offense is he can break contain as well as anybody. And I think this is a big deal. And so he breaks contain. We see this all day. We see him winning with his legs a lot in these two series. He's got a lot of athleticism. He's got more speed than I thought, quite frankly. And he's going to be able to do that. That's an added element where with a young quarterback, we just haven't seen this in a while. It's not like Aaron can't run, but like, you know, you have Hall of Fame guys back there for years and years and years. You're just not used to necessarily. We used to have the scramble drill and whatnot. We just haven't seen it in a while. So I think you're going to see that a lot this year because he's probably going to be, you know, first read, second read, maybe third read, and then he's out of there. We're not going to sit around and wait for that fourth, fifth read. I wanted to give credit where credit's due here. This is a great throw, but also this is a great job by Devin Bush, who's a free agent from Pittsburgh on the Seattle Seahawks. So when offensive lines are taught play action, whether it's a keep pass or in this case, it's a keep pass like on the front side, the back side, they're going to shore it up a little bit because he's going to show and then drop back. And you can see we're in that 2x2 look, and they'll maybe do the overcall and all that kind of stuff. All right. But we've seen this before. We get into a balanced look, under center play action. We want to show like the mid zone read, and then he'll just drop straight back, or sometimes he'll do a keeper. In this case, he drops straight back. We used to call this elephants on parade. And it just basically means, you know, if you're, you know, the center, right guard, right tackle, you're just going to turn to the right and start running, and you're going to try to hit somebody on the way. And then eventually you kind of shore up and square up a little bit. And the backside is going to be a little bit different, but you know, essentially, unless it's a keeper, we're all just elephants. All the big guys are just going to turn one direction and start running hard. The problem is linebackers aren't stupid. And at some point over the last 25 years, they've started to figure this out. You see Devin Bush here. He's going to start keying. One of his keys, you read through the open lineman through to the quarterback and the running back. Well, he just sees kind of an elephants on parade look. This is not a run look, okay? I mean, when you look at John Rennan Jr. and Zach Tom, this is not a run look. And so he immediately sees this. He sees it, even though we're doing a good job, I think, back here showing the ball, he turns and gets out of there. And now we're running really a two-man concept with a check down. And Jordan Love's got a ton of time here. Safeties didn't bite. Not the best coverage for this play. But because that middle linebacker gets back and cuts off this underneath route, really you're trying to run off here on the underneath route, or excuse me, on the route on the bottom of the screen. And you're going to look for this deep dig coming across about the 45-yard line. But Devin Bush does a great job reading this. And then you can see Jordan Love runs to his left, hits the hash mark, flips his hips, and delivers damn near a perfect ball that, you know, for whatever reason, we just don't make the play on. Jordan has to escape again here. We talked about Rasheed Walker last week, and I do think he's probably at this point the superior alternative to Yosh as far as the swing tackle. You'd be happy to put either one of them in the game. I just think he's better in the run game. He's got a long-term higher ceiling. There's a difference, and I think I just showed it here. There's a difference when you look at sets, okay? And if you're an offensive line coach or you're a coordinator or you're anybody involved in football right now, you see a lot of guys talking about angle sets. And there's a multitude of reasons that angle sets get you beat. But here's probably the most obvious one. The red set is the angle set. So you're going to kind of come out at a 45-degree angle, right? You're not as good an athlete as the guy across from you. So you're going to, like, we're going to have a fight before I'm ready to have a fight. If we're going to run to a spot to have a fight, and I'm the big guy, I want to make that spot more advantageous to me on the blue line, where I'm kind of backing up and I feel good about where I'm at, versus the red line where I'm going to cut the distance between we're having our fight. Because if this guy wants to cut inside, for example, I'm just not as good an athlete as he is. It's harder for me to change direction. We're not standing on our line here, so we go a little bit wide. And now that inside, he gets that inside stab. We're talking about the defensive end. And now we got to open that right foot all the way open like this. And now Jordan Love sees it. Again, good news we have this kind of quarterback now. We've always had it, but we've got a younger quarterback that's going to take advantage of these as often as possible. Break and contain. Open up, get out of there. He's got great speed. Makes plays with his feet. It's fantastic. We see Luke Musgrave here. We're running out of 21 personnel with DeGuara playing fullback. I love this play, and I I think it's just a really tough play right now with rookie tight ends running against stand-up outside linebackers playing 9 techniques, outside 9 techniques, like wide 9 techniques. Because this play is essentially running outside zone like 98 handoff Sol or 98 handoff Boss. All right. And what you're going to do is you're going to lead with your fullback, and he can maybe take the edge off of that defensive end if we don't get him completely covered up. But this is a difficult block when you've got guys playing inside or outside in like that, standing up for this tight end. I don't know if we're ready to make this play successful unless we're willing to kind of make a play between the 5 and the 9. You see, he doesn't take terrible footwork. He really puts his heart and soul into this, talking about Musgrave. But, the other guy gets paid to do this as well. And this is just I think right now, this is a really tough block. The landmark could have been better, certainly. I mean, he can be better on this block. But you see, because of it, DeGuara gets eaten up, and then Dillon's got to deal with the linebacker. DeGuara would, inevitably have gotten his hat on, and he would have been up on the second level, probably 5-7 yards deep before we get here. Just the kind of things that happen, but it really just comes down to landmark footwork, initial footwork, hand, hat placement, etc. Now, we talked about awareness with Jordan Love in the beginning of the show. And this happens. This is so easy for me. I could do this with any quarterback. Anybody who knows anything about football could look back and look. Hindsight's 2020. If you're looking at this play, you've got 3-by-1, tight ends attached. Right now, we know this safety is over the top. We're not coming out here. Okay. Now we have space out here, but we're not coming out here because if the cornerback on the bottom comes, right, there's literally no one to guard the wide receiver until the 10-yard line, the safety on the 10. Up top, if they want to bring somebody, they can bring that slot right now because that safety can drop down. He's right over the top of them. And now, either way, even if they don't bring him, we know the inside linebacker is going to have something to do with this tight end. But we don't see this. He's already made his decision where to go. Doesn't peek. Really, he's got a 2-on-1 read. If he hits Musgrave right now, tight end, this is maybe it's not a touchdown, but it's definitely a first down. Okay, and these are kind of freebie plays. So there's still stuff as good as Jordan Love's looked. There's still stuff we're gonna you continue to work on, continue to see these kind of things, look at the opportunity, because you can always take a peek and then fire this ball out if you don't see it. Incomplete play, not a big deal though. All right. These are the kind of plays, we're talking about trench warfare stuff, and you've got two, we'll just call them what they are. They're slugs, right? You got two big non-pass rushers in the game at defensive tackle for the Seattle Seahawks. These guys are there to stop the run. These guys are not world-class pass rushers. They're not necessarily, I wouldn't even know if we're going to call them dynamic, but they're low to the ground. They're big bodies. And especially at that nose tackle position, they're not going to move a lot. So we've got a shotgun look. We've got a draw set. And this is just I think these are two, we can do a better job, but sometimes just by personnel, they got you a little bit. And I think on both these guys, you see EJ gets beat inside, which you don't want. He's better than this. He doesn't need to get beat, but it happens from time to time. And then Myers is just going to, Myers has to snap the ball, act like he's going to pass set, hope this guy moves, and then try to move off a spot. Well, if the guy's just going to stand up and read him, it's like, all right, there's nothing to do. He's not going to move him off the spot just by, going stump belly to belly and trying to road grade him. It's not going to happen. You either got to get your hip set and try to drive block this guy, or you got to pass set and hope he rushes. If you pass set and he doesn't rush, and we all interior line, we've all fallen into this trap. If you pass this and he doesn't rush, you look bad. Kind of a circumstantial thing, but that's how it goes. It says playing the play. God, misspelling. So when I say playing the play, we're in that look again, and we're using 11 instead of 85 or instead of one of the other. We can put DeGuara back there or anybody instead of another tight end. But really, we've got this look under center. Okay, we've got Musgrave hipped off in that position where we know he's going. If we are the Seattle Seahawks. We know he's going backside right now because we've watched tape. And he's far enough off of vertically and horizontally, laterally, off of Zach Tom that he's going backside and he won't get in Zach Tom's way. So why do I bring that up? Because the linebackers here are shifted all the way over. And if you take away Musgrave, because they haven't shown they're just going to do a very simple, they could very easily just pitch this ball to the right and we can go tackle tight end, combo up to the linebacker, Runyon's on his own, Myers pulls or goes through for the next linebacker. We get a cutoff on the backside and we're out the gate. Okay, we could do that, but we're not doing that. Like we haven't shown it. So they keep going backside. So they're playing the play. And now Myers has to get all the way over to the linebacker over Zach Tom. And really nobody can even get to. I mean, I suppose you're looking at it like Walker's going to try to get all the way over to the play side A gap. It's just a really tough look, you know? And sometimes this is the preseason stuff. And so when guys say, hey, we're running vanilla, we're doing this and that, it's not that we're running vanilla. Like we're running all the same plays we always run. It's just sometimes we don't check out of them. And one thing that you're going to see this year that you might not have seen in the past is maybe Aaron Rodgers gets you out of that play. Maybe he gets you out of that play regardless if you're in the preseason or not, because he's like, dude, there's just no way this play is going to work. Like, let's do something else. Love might not be ready to do that. I don't know what kind of reins they've given him as far as what kind of checks we're going to make at the line of scrimmage. They haven't really talked about that too much in the preseason here. It'll be interesting to see in the first couple weeks of the season, though. Jenkins versus a wide 3 technique. So again, we're just talking some trench warfare stuff and like things to look at. So how do you make people's lives easier? Well, right now, Elgton Jenkins is the best player on the line, at least on the left side of the line, right? And so even if we have a slide with Myers, you got this wide 3 technique, so you know you have inside help. What you want to do is you want to put that 3 technique in a position where you're either going to get jacked in the face really hard, in the chest really hard, or you're going to go so flat inside that it's going to be really easy for that center to pick up. Okay, so we want to take 2 steps. If we want a flat set, which I don't advocate, but if you wanted to, take 2 and throw your hands, but you're kind of getting head up on this guy so he can't beat you outside. You're taking away that's the power of sliding the center to your side, is you kind of are going to take away one thing and force him to do either go down the middle or go inside. But you got to take something off the rush. And this is something where if we want Myers to look better at the guard position, we have to do a better job. Like, you got to help him a little bit here because now Myers looks like he's not doing his job. Ball gets batted down, penetration in the backfield. It's totally unnecessary. I'm guilty of this. I did this with Mike Flanagan once John Randall was playing in Seattle Seahawks. We're playing this like perfect game. We score 5 touchdowns in a row or something like that. It's like the fourth quarter. Randall comes in. He hasn't even been playing. He goes up. He plays the exact same thing is happening here. I do the exact same thing that Jenkins is doing. I just kind of put my hand out and go, oh, Flanagan will get him. And it's John Randall. You know, and Flanagan was really good, but it's John. I just basically gave John Randall a free rush from the B gap to beat Mike Flanagan, you know, who's playing center in the A gap. And I went to the sideline, and Mike's like, "This me, it was me." This is what happens sometimes. We got to be better. We got to be better here, though, because you don't want a guy who, again, is not a very good pass rusher to get this deep in the pocket. There's no need for it. Interesting play, though. Jordan Love caught his own pass. I wonder if he gets a completion for that. I'm not sure how that works, to be honest with you. Second attempt here, trying to replace Lazard this week. Come on now. Come down on 23. Are we coming back? What are we doing? Okay, we did the helmet up. He's down. That's just a bad angle, isn't it, guys? So we want to come flat and get our helmet across. Okay, we're just kind of patty caking him a little bit. We just got to be a little more physical. But because we do such a good job interior offensive line. We got 2 A-gap players. Do such a good job here creating this hole out this. I mean, that's just a fantastic. It's a great find. It's a great run, but really a good job by the center left guard and then right guard John Runyon Jr. Although he gets turned a little bit, he turns that guy completely around. Fantastic effort. Now, this is hard right here. You got 4 guys out on the route. There's only one opportunity to be open when he gets to the top of his 3-step. He makes a perfect throw, and the receiver does a good job here, right? Hearing footsteps, does a good job of being open, of making the right read and getting the open spot. But you hear footsteps here, tries to adjust his route right there, move before he catches it. We got to make that play, obviously. Jordan Love, great read. And then we talk about footwork and being elusive and kind of understanding the situation. You've got a window here. You've got a window here. Whether he thinks they're open or not, like, I'm not the quarterback, right? To me, they're open. Looking at the screen and still frame, these are places you could throw open. Now, what happens after that? And I think that's what we have to see when we move into the actual games, of when we don't make these throws, when we decide that this isn't open enough, when we decide that, when Jordan decides that this isn't it, I'm not going to throw, I don't feel good about throwing this ball. What's going to happen next? Because now all of a sudden, this escape doesn't look too good. And this ends up working out, I know. But this look right here is not what you want to see if you're a Packers fan. You love the athleticism. You love that he's making plays, all of it, okay? But we need to figure out, A, do we chuck that ball away because we don't what's our backup look like, our backup situation? And then B, how good do we get at our scramble drill? Love the footwork here, top of the stem, and then just turns and fires, right? Stuff that you love. On rhythm. It's a college throw, but great throw, great footwork. Okay. Christian Watson is really fast. Can you overthrow this guy? Now, they're showing 2 over here, and they're showing quarters up top. Okay, so they're showing cover 2 down on the bottom of the screen. They're showing quarters up top. Safety is aligned with the corner. That immediately alerts Jordan Love. It's go time. Christian Watson is not, both these guys are in a lot of trouble. They don't have somebody on the field fast enough to cover him. Okay, the safety has no chance of getting there. Does he need to turn? He probably could have thrown it a little bit further. I don't think you can outthrow the guy. Should have made the play. Ball went right through his hands. I don't think you can outthrow this guy, though. Unbelievable. Right through his hands. But that's going to be there all year. They've tried to play cover 4, less than 15 yards off. Wrap. Throw it deep. I feel like now that I'm watching this, I feel like I'm picking on Jenkins a little bit. He was, wasn't his best preseason performance. In his preseason, who cares? But just kind of showing stuff on why things work and why things don't. So they have a good double team here. Jenkins doesn't get a second step down, so he's high into contact. So he doesn't take a bad first step necessarily. Okay. It's a little bit deeper and maybe closer to the center than you need. But because he doesn't have a second step down in contact here, you need to make contact with both feet in the ground. And because the defensive tackle makes contact, now he's under his pads. He gets pushed up high. And Dillon's in kind of a bad spot, right? He gets pushed off. Walker has to break off on the linebacker. And Jenkins gets a little bit turned, and they end up making the tackle there. When we could probably, I think for me personally, with the way that he plays and his physicality, the expectation is you're going to get, with Bakhtiari in there, with Walker in there against the second team in the Seattle Seahawks, you're going to get 3 yards of movement regardless, and you're going to be able to stay on that man. Again, it always comes down to initial footwork. All right. Got 2 things to look at here. So let's watch Zach Tom first. This is, again, why when you think about flat setting or angle setting, Zach Tom is doing such a good job looking at the right tackle position. Okay, hands extended, all right? But now you've already engaged almost at the line of scrimmage. And this is under center play action pass again. So you're going to have this deep drop. There's going to be a lot of time. So you're extended, and you see his back foot is turned, so his chest is now pointed towards the sideline. Why is this the problem? Because you essentially, if you're the defensive end, you're on the 40, let's call it the 46-yard line. And Love is now at the 45. So you have 9 yards of depth to get. and you're all the way out at the right tackle position. So running the loop really isn't that hard, as opposed to if you had that confrontation 5 yards deeper at the 50, now trying to run that loop is going to put you back to the 42, the 43-yard line. You're nowhere near the quarterback. And that's why, for me, the guys I teach, we're not going to sit there and practice or go into a game and say, hey, I'm going to try to flat set this guy and catch him off guard. Because if they get the edge like they get him here, even though he's got hands inside, even though he's done a great job with his hands and he feels good, like he gets beat. And could the quarterback throw the ball? All these things could happen, but we don't play to hang on. We play to win. And you don't win when you take initial footwork that is not logical or not like kinesthetically smart. Okay. Now, the other side of this, which I just love from Musgrave, is I'm not sure if he's confused or whatnot. Well, he's a rookie and it is what it is. So I think he thinks maybe he should block the safety, but he's not sure. What? Okay. So he kind of figures out like, okay, I made a mistake. But now it's like you go into, hey, I'll fix it. Just give me the ball mode, right? Okay, pass me the ball. Give me the ball. Look, come on, just give the ball to me. All right, now it's too late. I just love, like, I can't tell you how many times because offensive linemen we will miss blocks every once in a while, but there's just no like, hey, I'll bail you out if you just throw me the ball. It'd be fantastic. Okay. Like I said at the beginning, they didn't start in 12 or 21, but winners do use 21 personnel. And I'm going to show you why. Again, we've talked about this already. You get into 12 or 20, you get into 21 personnel in particular, linebackers' ears go up, right? Play action is going to work better because they're not used to playing against a fullback. So it's like their minds start thinking like, oh man, how do I fit into our scheme against a fullback? It's different. So now we got this look. We're going to go under center play action. We're going to go full flow here. We're going to get these linebackers to flow downhill to contact point, and we're going to leave this receiver up top, including the safety who's coming down the box. We're going to receiver up top for an inside move with outside leverage on the defensive back. So here we go. Under center. And a lot of this, instead of the keepers this week, because they know Seattle's going to run that guy high for the keep, they bring DeGuara backside. They do a quick look, and he just turns. He's like more of a 3-step drop, not a 7-step. Hits him on the quick end. This is a great play. It's a great football play. It's a great personnel play. And then, obviously, you look at Watson out here one-on-one, and, you're just begging. Great back shoulder throw. Seen that over the years many, many, many times.